any adjustments, any wiggles, just to provide you with a little bit more support, a little bit more stability. As you take a deep breath in through the nose, then a long sigh out of the mouth. And let's take 2 more like that. Big breath in. Then a deep breath out. 1 more inhaling. And exhale, really give yourself permission to release. If you haven't already done so, you can begin to close the eyes, allowing your focus to begin to shift inward, off of your external reality and into your inner awareness. We'll move through a body awareness scan to begin. And then I'll dive into the astrological placement of this new moon. And then we'll work into a guided visualization to really harness in that energy. I'll begin to list off different parts of the body. As I list off these body parts, you're just going to bring your awareness to these areas. If you feel tightness or tension, just adjust, breathe into these regions, move them if needed before moving on to the next aspect of the body. So we're going to start down at the tips of the toes, soles of the feet, tops of the feet, ankles, calves, shins, knees, thighs, hips, buttocks, low back and low belly, upper back and the chest, and shoulders down to the elbows, elbows to the wrists, wrists down to the palms of the hands, backs of the hands, all 10 of your fingers, neck and throat, jaw and tongue, both of your cheeks, both of your eyes, both of your eyebrows, forehead, the entirety of the skin, the entirety of the body. Whole body relaxes. Whole body releases. Whole body surrenders. Just giving yourself permission to let go, to receive as you observe your breathing. Observing the inhalation, the rise of the belly on the breath, and the fall of the belly on the breath. And the expansion of the skin on the inhalation, and the contraction of the skin on the exhalation. And then from this deep breath practice, from this observation of your breath, just let yourself be still. The first eclipse of the year was a partial solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus, which occurred on April 30th. The solar eclipses occur when the moon is positioned in between the sun and the earth, creating a shadow that falls over the earth. And this phenomenon can only take place during the new moon phase. Now, this particular moon also happens to be a phenomenon known as a black moon, this being the second new moon occurring in the same month, first one occurring on April 1st. And Saturday's magical celestial event marks the beginning of the 2022 eclipse season, which will inevitably bring a series of sweeping changes to our lives. Astrologically speaking, eclipses are thought to bring matters to light, coax out our secrets. They help us to acknowledge truths that we haven't noticed before or possibly outright denied. Eclipse season also tends to be a high energy time period that may make you feel a little bit more emotional than usual, as they tend to usher in intense and sudden change. This season is a time for circumstances and even people to eclipse in or out of our realities. And while it may sound daunting, think about it more as a cosmic reset to help us more deeply connect with our purpose in this lifetime. The effects can be felt for up to 6 months after the actual date of the eclipse. And then the sign of Taurus, matters related to personal finances, values, ownership, physical and material resources, personal possessions, feelings of worthiness, desire for safety and security, resistance to change, comfort, sensuality, and familiarity will be a strong focus on a personal level. This eclipse is all about new beginnings regarding all of these matters, as Taurus rules over all of these things. Given that it's occurring in this sign, this eclipse is a lot about strengthening our sense of security. It's a time for reevaluating our relationship with money and possessions and discovering what it is that truly makes us happy and fulfilled. It's also a period for considering new ways of increasing our income. New and potent energy is with us for taking charge of our personal possessions and our finances. We should be concentrating on what it is that we can do to increase our feelings of self-worth at this time. We're asked to get in touch with what it is that we truly value and want in our lives, and to finally part with those things or situations that are not or no longer contributing to our feelings of worthiness. This includes identifying those things that give us a false sense of security. Sometimes eclipses bring about events that force us into this position of reevaluation. Now, for example, on a very mundane level, someone might need to move to a smaller place that requires downsizing of personal possessions. Another might be in the position to pay out a large sum that necessitates an adjustment of spending habits. Another might need to deal with an audit or back taxes. And really the list goes on, but these are just some examples. We might evaluate where we have been complicating our lives by our love-hate attraction to predicament and conflict, or by an addiction to food or comfort items. And consider what truly makes us feel content and comfortable. Knowing what it is that truly, deeply makes us feel comfortable and pleased ultimately improves not only our relationships with ourselves, but our relationships with all others. Our sensual side is deeply enhanced at this time. And during this series of eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio, they started November 2021 and they're moving through to October 2023. We're learning a lot about the balance between give and take. Circumstances may be such that we're pushed to see and consider others' values rather than expect others to share the same perspectives as us. And as well, we need to discover our own needs and values as individuals, honor our own individual perspective. We may now need to take steps towards managing and handling our shared resources with others, or our personal debts or taxes more efficiently. As well, we need to consider whether we're contributing our share and earning what we deserve. At this time, there's a possibility of an intimate partnership maybe being left behind. A source of money might end. Now, either of these situations pushes us to learn to depend on ourselves and to recognize that we don't necessarily need these things to survive, that we're whole exactly as we are. Ultimately, we're now in a better position to understand that changes or endings are necessary for our own growth and that we can handle these things, that life does indeed go on. And discovering our personal power. And this eclipse specifically occurring in Taurus is more about attending to the side of the equation that involves our own needs and our own happiness, our own self-care. It's a time for investing or reinvesting in ourselves, our own talents, our own ability to provide for others. And in pursuing goals that we truly value, that truly bring life to our lives. There's a focus on what we've built and whether we need to clear the way for new projects and relationships, or whether we might recommit to those things that we have already been building. This is a good time for focusing on some of the constructive traits of the sign of the bull. Strong-willed, consistent, sensual, enduring, deliberate, patient, and consider how to positively incorporate these qualities into our everyday lives. Taurus new moons are generally good for getting back in touch with simple and physical pleasures, savoring good food, and enjoying activities that bring us in touch with nature and our bodies. It's a time to really stop and smell the roses and to become more and more aware of what makes us feel secure, what makes us feel comfortable. Now, a solar eclipse can stimulate a very strong desire to take action. However, it will be important to avoid jumping to conclusions and asserting ourselves without considering others' feelings. There's a big difference between asserting ourselves from a place of healthy confidence and asserting ourselves brashly and blindly. The latter ultimately has the potential to give us a false sense of confidence or bravery. Now, with this potent Taurus energy, we have the chance to make important changes in our lives that will benefit us well beyond this moon cycle. For some of us, circumstances are such that we're forced to pay more attention to these matters, and it may not even be of choice. And eclipses have a very powerful way of doing this. The flaws in an important system in our lives may be revealed around the time of the eclipse, prompting us to redo or to start fresh. And something ends in order for something else to start anew. So we may be called to give up something in order to move forward into a new chapter. And although the new may be unrecognizable, it's important to allow the necessary surrender to the unknown. Now, an eclipse occurs close to the nodal axis, and this eclipse is closer to the north node of the moon. And eclipses closer to the north node tend to feel easier as we have a stronger sense that we're growing and improving. Now, in astronomy, the orbital nodes are the highest and lowest points within the moon's ecliptic. In astrology, the nodes represent our purpose, our past, and our future, and are said to illuminate our destiny. So, when a new or a full moon gets so close to the nodes, there's this energy of expansion, urging us to move closer and closer to our true purpose. We're also pushed to seek better balance within ourselves. No, we're also challenged to be more sensible and possibly conservative in our approach, but at the same time, be open to making fundamental changes. We're challenged to follow through on projects or situations that we may have abandoned or considered dropping if we deem them to be appropriate and worthwhile at this time. And it is also possible that we may be dealing with a certain level of stubbornness, both in others as well as in ourselves. And stubbornness being one of the bull's most well-known traits. It's an excellent time for connecting with our bodies and with nature through earthly activities. Taurus being an earth sign, as well as appreciating what we already have. And it's important to understand that not everyone will feel the effect of this eclipse with the same intensity. And it all depends on where the phenomenon intersects with your natal chart. Let's take a nice deep breath in and a full breath out as we begin our journey, our guided visualization, and becoming more and more aware of the breath once more. And as you go about this visualization, do it from a detached mindset. And simply focus on going within, finding the inner being that we want to be, and then letting it manifest in the external reality. And keep the breath long and slow. And simply keep your awareness on my voice. And we'll start to visualize ourselves standing barefoot outside. Maybe you're in a forest, maybe you're in a garden. Whatever comes naturally to you, just feel your feet connected to the earth. Feel yourself grounded. Feel the earth's cool and damp soil beneath your toes. Feel the vibrant and pure energy that ascends through your feet as you connect to the earth, filling you with grounding energy, source energy, with a sense of calm and stability, feeling revitalized as you're connecting barefoot to the earth, one with nature. And as you're standing barefoot in the soil, feeling completely calm, stable, and connected, feeling whole as you look down. And you can see that right beneath you, right in front of where you're standing, the ground is starting to fall away. You remain grounded here where you are as the earth in front of you completely falls away, disappears. And as it disappears, it begins to form a staircase that goes down into the earth's soil. And it's dark, so you're unable to see where the stairway goes. You don't know where it leads. And yet, you're unafraid. The stairway dropping into the earth is also a stairway into your inner self. You stand at the top, unafraid of facing yourself in your purest form. You trust and accept all you are as you take a few steps forward. down the stairs, into the earth, into yourself, one step at a time. You can feel each stair being made of the earth's soil. And as you descend down these stairs away from the sunlight, you feel more and more grounded. There's this calm charge in the air. So you continue to walk down one step at a time, a feeling of purity, of wholeness. The ground is charged with the earth's energy, a very Taurus-like energy, and it's revitalizing your spirit. Your vision begins to go darker and darker as you're going down the staircase to the point where you're unable to see anything in front of you. And you start to curiously wonder what's ahead without any fear as the light of day starts to disappear. And all of a sudden, a new light starts to reappear. You notice that the walls are sparkling, are glimmering. And as you focus in on this glimmer, you notice that the walls are embedded with gemstones, with crystals. And the farther you walk, the more clear they become. And they're glowing, illuminating the pathway now. They're all around you. Beautiful amethyst, opalite, lapis lazuli, labradorite, colors of purple, of white, of green, of gold, sparkling in the walls of this earthly stairwell. And even without the light of day to shine on them, they glow. And so you continue to walk down the stairwell illuminated by this glow. You start to see the details of these gems fully. As you reach your hand out to the right and you pull one out, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What is it shaped like? You observe this gemstone, you see its beauty, its uniqueness, its power. And as you hold it, you feel that power being absorbed into you. Right? So you take that gemstone and you place it at your heart, carrying it with you, within your soul, within your being. You walk a little bit more forward and you grab another crystal. And as you grab this crystal, you notice the differences. You notice what this one looks like, feels like. And you take another step, you grab another, place it into your heart space. And then you realize that as you collect these crystals, that these are representations of your own gifts, your own talents, your own traits, all of the things that make you innately and unapologetically worthy. And as you continue to mine these gemstones, picking the ones that resonate with you, the ones that make you you, worthy without attachment, without reason, each one representing something else, whether you know what it represents or not, you know innately that it's a piece of you. Maybe it's your loving heart. Maybe it's the fact that you're a sovereign, living, breathing being. Whatever it is, whatever makes you worthy, you continue to collect them without attachment. You continue to carry them in your heart. You feel their vibrancy, their unique colors as they fill your soul, making you more and more whole, more and more you. You go deeper and deeper into the stairwell, deeper and deeper into yourself. In each step, you come closer to the roots of your being, deeper into the shadows of yourself. And the more things that you find, the more crystals, becoming more and more aware of all of these traits within you that make you so worthy. Worthy of love, worthy of abundance, worthy of living the reality that you desire. Each time you pick one up, you place it in your heart space. And no matter how many you grab, they don't weigh you down even in the slightest. In fact, they make you feel lighter. They fill you with the light, with the warmth, with love, with joy, with peace, with excitement. In each crystal you grab, you feel more and more whole, more and more worthy, more and more true to you. And as you take all the crystals that make you feel complete, you pause for a moment and internally repeat, I am worthy. And that's it. No because, no why, you just are. And some of these gemstones have been locked in the dark for far too long. You'll carry them with you in your heart because it's time to show them to the world, to embrace their beauty and their shine. And you take a deep breath as you feel the weightlessness, the freedom in your roots of your being, of realizing your worthiness, of expressing itself. And you look down the stairwell and you release anything that no longer serves you, leaving it here in the dark. You collect any final crystals that are calling to you, placing them in your heart. And with this newfound sense of lightness, you take one last look around before turning around and heading back up the stairwell, back towards the earth's surface, taking your time, taking all of your worthiness, all of your gemstones, all of your beauty with you. You begin to see the light of day again. And you start to rise out of the core of your being, out of the core of the earth. You look up, you see the sun. And you see that the moon is passing through the sun, finishing its journey of its eclipse, welcoming you to the start of your new destiny. Living unapologetically, without expectation, without reason. Living the path that you're meant to, that you're worthy of. And knowing internally that a new beginning has just begun. And you turn around and the stairwell begins to disappear as the earth reforms. And taking it with your innermost insecurities, your self-doubt, your limitations. It all surrendered down into the earth, no longer existent. And you take a seat on the earth's soil, the damp soil. You close the eyes and you internally state, I am worthy. And this time it just feels like truth. And you take your newfound worthiness back to you, back to your physical reality, back to the five senses. And you take a deep breath.